Alright guys, here's a video of me assembling my Ohlins Dedicated Track coilovers for my E46 M3. So this is the front shock for the M3. As you can see, Ohlins did a pretty good job packaging it very well. I did kind of take apart some of the packaging that kept it tight. So what you want to do is remove that plastic cover holding the shock, and what you want to do is be careful not to put any weight on that bottom adjustment screw as you're assembling the shock. So what you first want to do is go ahead and loosen the height adjustment collars. That way it just makes it a little bit easier to assemble the spring, helper spring, and camber plates. So what I did was put it all the way down. Make sure that it's all the way down but not actually tight. So I just want to make sure it's still loose, that way it's still a little bit easier to adjust. So what I went ahead here was I actually picked up the front spring of the Ohlins coilovers, but as I was starting to put it on, I actually remembered the next thing you want to do is actually install the provided dust boot. So we're looking for it. There it is. So what you want to do is go ahead and install the dust boot first, and then per Ohlins instructions it actually tells you to cut a section of the dust boot. Just for my personal preference, I decided not to do that because there's an area on the bottom of the dust boot that you can use to kind of secure the dust boot into the shock with a zip tie. So I went ahead and do that, kind of press it all the way down as far as I can, and then go ahead and install my zip tie. Okay, and just make sure the zip tie is nice and tight. So I put a little bit of pressure there just to secure the zip tie a little bit better, and go ahead and cut off the extra section of the zip tie. So once that's done, now you can go ahead and install the main coilover spring. These Ohlins do come with Swift springs, which want to make sure you get the right spring rate. The front is 12K and the rear is 16K. So what I'm doing next is looking for the helper spring, which is in the other box. Go ahead and unwrap the helper spring. Just get that kind of ready and set up. There's a couple other pieces that you want to put in first. So don't mind me here, I'm just adjusting the GoPro a little bit for a little bit lower angle. And we'll do that. Let me go ahead and grab the camber plate top hat while I'm at it. So before you install the helper spring, what you want to do is install the Swift thrust bearing spacers that it comes with. So these thrust bearing spacers come in two pieces, both for the top and the bottom of the spring adapter, helper spring adapter. It just kind of keeps the spring from binding when you're turning under load. So once that's installed, you can go ahead and install the helper spring. And once that's installed, you want to go ahead and just cut the zip tie off the camber plates, because there is a spacer that is included that kind of goes into the shaft of the shock, just to kind of go ahead and keep the top hat center. Let's see. So once that's installed, you can go ahead and install the top hat. Make sure that's centered also. And as you can see, there's the threaded portion kind of sticking out. Just makes it a little bit easier to install the camber plate without adding any load on the spring. So go ahead and install the camber plate, and once the camber plate is nice and secure, you can go ahead and install that T-nut and start screwing it in. As you can see, it's pretty easy, nothing too complicated. Once that's done, you want to make sure you're aware not to set the shock body on the table and put any weight on that set screw. That's the main thing I did. Just try to be careful and tighten up this T-nut. Just hand tight for now. There is a torque specification, but that's it. So that's the assembly of the front shock for the Ohlins Dedicated Track coilovers. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it helps. Thanks.